I had only been in Block D for 3 weeks when I first noticed him. In prison, rumors travel faster than food trays, and most of them are exaggerated or twisted into jokes. But this rumor was different. No one laughed when his name came up. They said there was a man in cell D14 who didn't sleep. Quiet, pale inmate who supposedly walked out of his locked cell every night and returned before dawn without anyone seeing how. I dismissed it as another prison myth. Steel doors don't unlock themselves. At least, that's what I believed then. My bunk was positioned directly across from his cell. From where I lay, I could see his doorway through the wired glass pane. His name was Mako Finn. Silent, eyes always lowered like he was listening to something none of us could hear. The first few nights were uneventful. The block was cold and still, filled with the faint electric hum of lights and distant metal echoes. Then one night, at around 2:37 a.m., I woke up with a strange sensation. A sudden awareness that I wasn't alone. I turned my head, and that's when I saw him. Mako was standing outside his cell. The doors had been locked hours earlier. I remembered hearing the final click aftercount, yet there he was in the corridor, standing perfectly still, not breathing heavily, not moving, not reacting to anything around him. He didn't even look at me. It was as if his body was there, but his mind was somewhere else entirely. My heart pounded so hard I could hear blood rushing in my ears. I whispered his name, but he didn't respond. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, almost like he was listening to a distant voice, and then he began to walk down the hallway. But there were no footsteps, no sound of fabric brushing or chains shifting. He moved in absolute silence, gliding more than walking. Something inside me froze. I wanted to call for the guard, but fear tightened around my chest and held my voice back. Deep inside, I felt that this was something the guards already knew about, something they had chosen not to acknowledge. The next morning, Mako was back in his cell, sitting on his bed with his hands folded, staring at the floor. The door was still locked. No guard had opened it during the night. They passed by during count, without even glancing inside. One guard, Officer K, paused for a split second, then turned away quickly like the sight of the cell made him uncomfortable. It was clear to me then that whatever was happening, nobody wanted to talk about it. Later that day in the yard, I asked an older inmate named Kareem about Mako. His expression changed instantly. He stopped talking and lowered his eyes. In a low voice, he told me not to watch Mako at night. Primera Haskadwai. He leaned closer and whispered that the last inmate who watched him hadn't woken up. He didn't say it like a threat or a joke. He said it like a warning, and I could see fear behind his words. That night, I tried not to look toward cell D14, but curiosity slowly overpowered fear. At 3:09 a.m., the hallway lights flickered and the air seemed to grow colder. Mako stepped out again. This time, he turned his head toward me, and our eyes met. His eyes were hollow, empty, like whatever made him human had long since drained away. He lifted his hand slightly, as if signaling for me to follow. He began moving toward the far end of the block, and I noticed something that chilled my blood. He didn't cast a shadow. I stepped closer to the bars to see more clearly. When he reached the wall near the old storage room, he didn't stop. He walked straight through it. Not around Italiano, not behind Italiano. Through it, like the concrete didn't exist. My knees weakened and I clung to the bars to keep myself from collapsing. The next morning, I went to that wall during cleaning duty. There were deep scratch marks carved into the concrete, long and jagged, as if someone had clawed at it desperately. Above them, faint scratched words read, "Let me out." I confronted Officer K later that day and told him exactly what I had seen. He stared at me in silence for several seconds, then quietly said that cell D14 had been sealed for 2 years before I arrived. I insisted there was someone inside. His voice shook slightly when he replied, "There used to be," before walking away. Fear kept me awake that night. I didn't want to see anything else, but something inside compelled me to look. The lights flickered again, and Mako appeared in the corridor. But this time, he wasn't alone. More shadows followed behind him. Faint outlines of other inmates, silent and expressionless, moving in the same direction. One by one, they walked toward the same wall and disappeared through it just as he had. In that moment, I realized those men weren't escaping. They were reliving their final moments, trapped in a cycle neither time nor death could break. I pressed my head against the cold bars and trembled as they vanished into the darkness. The next morning, cell D14 was empty, the bed untouched. A guard came and sealed the door with a metal plate. No label, no number, just silence. But there've been now on some nights when the lights flicker and the hallway grows cold. I still hear footsteps passing outside my cell. Slow, steady, relentless. And when I hear them, I know he's still there. Walking the corridor, looking for another witness. Someone else who isn't afraid to watch.